Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Zombiezi Bay, and this is at Zoombezi Bay, which is the water park at the Columbus Zoo.
Yes.
This is the first ever year that they are doing this, so we were really curious to go and check it out. Figured people might be curious to see kind of what it's like since this is the first ever year.
Yeah.
That they are doing it. So yeah, it's like the whole water park, and then there's like a little ride area they have that's kind of taken over for this specific event as well. Now there is an event, I will say, if you're kind of looking for it, if you go to the Columbus Zoo's website directly, all it's going to talk about is Boo at the Zoo. That's a completely different thing. That's like a more family-friendly oriented event. I think it's like trick-or-treating and stuff like that. This one you won't see unless you actually go to the water park's website.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. If you don't see much mention of it on the actual zoo's website, you have to go to the zoo's water world website thing. And I will say before we get into the review, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because we do have our first giveaway of the season. It'll be for a couple tickets to Ghoul Brothers in Akron, Ohio. And a free shirt, you will get that as well. So a pair of tickets, and that will tell you all the details of what you have to do to win at the end of this video. And there will be multiple chances to win and all of that. But that being said, we will get into the review, which means now we need to refer to the Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead!
All right. So, of course, this was the first year for Zombiezi Bay, which it was kind of weird because there wasn't a lot of zombies.
Yeah.
I just have to point that out right away.
There wasn't
I was
a lot
expecting
of
a lot of
zombies.
Zombies, and I really didn't feel a lot of zombies.
There was a scare zone that was zombie themed, and I don't really know if any of the haunts were necessarily zombie themed. But yeah.
So, anyway, so yeah, it was at the Columbus Zoo's water park, which is normally called Zombiezi Bay, and there were 4 haunted houses. There was Catacombs, Eternal Darkness, Pleasant Screams Laboratory, and Sinister Sideshow. And then they also had 2 scare zones?
Yeah, it was 2. They had 2 scare zones, and that was
zones.
Decomposed, which was the zombie-themed one, and then Photosynthesis, which was like evil plants.
Yeah.
Was the theme for that one.
We actually, unfortunately, did not get to go into one of the haunted houses just because the lines were atrocious.
Yeah.
They were spacing people out really, really far.
Yeah, they were, and we had tickets for Fear Columbus, and their time tickets. It's just the way that place works, and make sure you stay tuned. There will be a review for that one up. And I actually changed the ticket time to 30 minutes later, and we were still we got there almost right when our ticket time started.
Yeah.
I will say, though, reading the descriptions of the houses, the one that we didn't get to go to was Eternal Darkness, and, it says basically that it's a almost complete blackout haunt. So if there's one I would want to miss, it would be a blackout haunt, because I can't imagine there'd be much to talk about outside of unless it was scary because there's actors and there's no lights.
Yeah.
The blackout haunts don't do much for me. That's generally one of our complaints when we go to haunted houses is when they have nothing but black mazes. It just doesn't do too much for us personally, but...
No, you gotta thrill it up a little bit. Put some people in there. Put some scares in there. So of course we'll start off our review with sets and props. Lots of fog.
Yeah, there was a lot of fog.
It seemed like they just pumped that place full. Everywhere you walked, there was fog, which was nice.
Yeah, it was cool how much fog there was. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
The scare zones were really tiny, though.
Yeah, they were really tiny, especially the photosynthesis one was not. Yeah, photosynthesis. That one was really tiny, blinking you would have missed it kind of thing. And there was only well, I guess we'll talk more about in actors, but yeah, photosynthesis. Yeah, that one there was a couple plants, and they had those cool I've seen them other places, but they're pumpkin scarecrows with the face that glows.
Yeah.
Decomposed was a little bit longer. I'd say it's probably about twice as long as photosynthesis, and it was kind of
Like a graveyard with zombies in it.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. It was just like a little area where zombies were just kind of hiding behind like different wreckage and stuff like that.
So we'll kind of go through like each house a little bit.
Yeah.
The first one we went to was the Pleasant Screams Laboratory, which was basically like a hospital theme. It was probably the longest haunt that we went through. It was,
because it went through a total of 3 like smaller buildings.
Yeah.
This one had like 3, and they were kind of attached. Not a ton of detail in here. They did have some animatronics, nothing like spectacular. The things we've seen other places. White walls with pretty much they're all splattered in blood. There was like a chain link fence maze in there. There was another kind of maze that was more like just like bars, almost like a jail cell.
Like a jail cell kind of.
Yeah, not a crazy amount of detail, but a little bit better than I was expecting it to be. It could have been a lot worse. Like I said, I mean, there's nothing really to write home about, but there were some scenes, like I believe there's like a little cafeteria type of thing in there, like where someone was like having a break or something. It looked like there was like x-rays on the walls, some stuff like that. What you would expect to see in a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, your typical hospital setting kind of thing.
Yeah, just a little above average what you might see at like a lesser, I guess. I don't really know what I can compare it to. Like, I would say it's like King's Island level like theming if you've been to that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, about there as far as detailing goes.
Then we went to the Sinister Side Show, which was basically a 3D clown haunt.
Yes.
I have to say this was probably my favorite of
I would say so as
three
well.
that we went to.
Usually I don't really like clown things very much, and I'm not going to say this thing was amazing, but the 3D and the art in it was really cool.
Yes, it was very well done. Very well done. And I feel like there was like probably the most actors in this one too. Or at least they had like a way that they could like get us numerous times, because I know like the guy with the hammer, he got us like he kept popping out of places all the like I think I saw him like 5 times while we were in that haunted house. So
yeah, this one definitely felt like there's the most scares and the most actors and stuff like that. Again, this one had some animatronics, not a ton. You know, had your clown animatronics. They had like the severed head type things that would drop from the ceiling. Yeah. But yeah, the main thing I liked is now it is a very basic haunt. You know, it's not like your next level thing where it is like there's obvious like drywall that you're just weaving your way in between, but. The paint that they used in that was cool, and they had some really nice art though on there.
Yes.
Some of it really did look like it was kind of floating out, which was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did like that. And the last one that we got to go to was Catacombs, which is the one we waited in line the longest for. It's weird. Like the other ones, they were kind of like funneling you in, but this one they really spaced out the groups kind of further than they should have, because like it said 30 minutes and we waited an hour for this thing. Yeah. Well, we'll get more to that in value about how long it took, but it was short though, I'll say that. This one, it starts off with like a little outside, like a real small outside portion. And then it's just kind of back to back to back of, and if you've ever been to like a carnival style haunt, you've probably seen this before. There's like these plastic walls that they buy, and it just has like bones or like skeleton, like skulls in it and stuff like that. And that's all this was just a bunch of going back and forth. Mm-hmm. The lighting, there was nothing special about that in this one. The only thing that was interesting, like almost at the very end, there was a like vampire party, because this one is like vampire themed, and there's like it was like a bar. Well, it wasn't a real bar, but it was like a pretend bar, and they tried to get us to dance.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been like a concession stand, or maybe they use it as a concession stand or something, and they just set it up like it looked like a bar. It was really strange.
Yeah, it was really kind of, I was like really confused at the end. I'm like, what is this?
Like, what's going on? Okay, they wanted us to dance. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Thanks.
It's like, nope, we gotta leave real quick. You get to the next one, but yeah, sets and props. I want to talk too, because not only the park with the fog and that, but there were a lot of cool like decorations throughout the park. Mm-hmm. Like actually outside of Catacombs, they had like old ride vehicles and stuff, and they kind of do what Cedar Point did a little bit with like the graveyard of like old things I think that had been throughout the zoo and the water park. It looked like they had that, which was cool. The whole thing was just lit really pretty.
Yeah.
Really liked the way it was lit. They had these really cool in the one slide they had like this skull projection. And I have video of this. It was in like that big, I don't know what you call it, but it's like the big funnel slide.
Yeah, the big funnel slide. Yeah.
And then when you walk in, which will probably end up being the thumbnail for this video maybe, they had a projection on, I don't even know what this thing is, but it's one of the slides where it's like it dumps you and then you like go up really high, and they had like their logo projected up on this thing as you walked in, and they even had like strobe lights like up in some like the top parts of the slides just to kind of add to the ambiance, which I thought was cool. But just like how they had like multicolored lights and like red lights and just like random things throughout the park, really
flickering like lanterns, like some of the pathways and the bridges and stuff had like these lanterns that were really like
a nice little entry gateway. That was probably my favorite part, is just like the park itself felt really, it was weird, it's like really like pretty the way it all was. It was very pretty, and like with a wave pool,
ethereal, I think that's kind of like
they had where the wave pool was, they could have just put up the gating, but they did put up gating, but then they put like corn stalks in the gating too, just to make it look nicer. But overall, obviously, this is their first year. The sets and props left a bit to be desired as far as the haunts go, and the scare zones need to be expanded quite a bit. What did we...
We gave them a 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's definitely room for improvement. What they had was pretty decent.
Yeah, that's pretty decent.
It's a good start. For being the first year, I have to say, pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm excited because they were fairly busy, so I'm assuming that there's going to be following years. I don't think this will be where I don't think they're going to do a one-and-done type of situation. So I am excited to see, what they do from here on out. Hopefully they don't just take this as a cash grab, and they actually do continue to invest money this event is making them into improving pretty much all facets, I suppose. But
yeah. So that moves us on to actors. Once again, our biggest thing was they need more.
Yeah.
Of course.
There definitely was hurting in some spots. Like I said, the scare zone, especially photosynthesis, there was 2. Mm-hmm. Which I will say, when I'm talking about that, that was probably the biggest scare I did get of the night. We were walking out of photosynthesis, and I thought maybe like all the actors had left the scare zone for a moment or something like that, and I'm like, where is the guy? And there's like this gate like that kind of like leads you back into the actual water park, because this was out where like the rides where they have like a coaster and stuff like that, and I like happened to look down at the ground, and he was like behind the gate on the ground, and he just crawls out at me out of the darkness, and I just happened to be looking right down there, and it like scared the crap out of me. I wasn't expecting someone just to crawl out of this corner. And then it really startled me. So props to Ghillie Suit Man that scared the crap out of me.
Ghillie suits are always the best investment you can ever make in a haunted house. If you have some bushes and trees, get somebody in a ghillie suit. Guaranteed scare.
And there was a roaming chainsaw person. I didn't see any really other roaming actors, but there was a roaming chainsaw girl.
Yeah.
That I would see kind of going around spooking people. And of course, the costuming in that was what you would expect. The hospital had like nurses and like doctors and people in scrubs. And I think there's also like mental patients at one point.
Yeah.
Of course, the clown house had clowns. What else would you expect?
Vampires.
Well, we did have vampires in the catacombs.
Well, they could have been in the clown. Yeah, you never know.
Vampire clowns.
Yeah, vampire clowns.
From outer space. But,
one little note is the Sinister Sideshow apparently was the ringleader of this sideshow is named Sid. And they had somebody out front on this like pedestal, and she basically heckled people.
It was great.
It was actually really entertaining. Yeah.
And they had speakers going through the whole queue, so you could hear her the whole time.
Yeah. As she was like, where do you think you're going? Are you lost? Why don't you ask the person that's standing here, with the microphone? They can probably help you. And she just, she was making fun of people's outfits and things like that. Good, clean making fun of. Nothing awful, but she was pretty...
Yeah, I thought that was cute. I was glad they had that there. It was nice because that was one of the longer lines as well. Mm-hmm. Like I said, obviously, this type of haunt ended up being like, its first year. I wouldn't say there was many standout moments, but the ones that were there were doing probably the best with what they had. Mm-hmm. They said we got started by them a few times, mainly in the clown theme house, the Sinister Sideshow. That one is the one, and we did get the most. and I will say when we were walking through the zombie scare zone, that one had a lot more actors than the photosynthesis one.
Yeah.
Because there's a group in front of us. We only went through this one time, but there's a group in front of us, and they got scared or got startled multiple times by the zombies in that area.
So, we did give actors a 7. Mm-hmm. Again, always room for improvement. Need more. Probably they didn't have much dialogue either, so probably work on that. Maybe have like them say something or have a script or something like that, just to kind of get it going a little bit more than just grunting and screaming.
Yeah, but yeah, just obviously just needs more. But every place, is having problems with that. But I also think, since it is their first year, that they will hopefully, like whoever's like directing the event and stuff like that, will kind of work on placing actors a little bit better throughout the park. Maybe another scare zone or something. Just just to have a few more there.
Yes. So moving on, that takes us to scare factor. Like we said, we did get scared a couple times. He got scared by the ghillie suit guy. I got a couple times in like the hospital one and the clown one. Kind of gory in the hospital, so if you're not a fan of gore, that one might turn you off.
More like blood splattering than just anything else.
And like some like bodies with like stuff hanging out.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, this one I forgot to mention this. You said that for sets and props, actually. It was weird. I've never been into a haunt that had these before, and it was kind of gross. They were like these big full-body styrofoam things.
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
Well, I think it was those drowning dummies.
Maybe. I have no idea.
And I think they made like a mold out of it and just made a bunch of them.
They were just like bodies, and they were just like, they were styrofoam, but they were like painted in like red paint.
Red, yeah.
So it kind of looked like burnt bodies. Yeah, and there's like a ton of them. You had to push your way through them, and they were weird.
They were gross.
Yeah, I forgot about those. But yeah, anyways.
I would say this is fairly family friendly. Probably a good place, like, you have a first-timer kid that wants to check out a haunted house and go, check out the zoo. You could probably do the Boo at the Zoo, probably, in the daytime, and then go to this.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think Boo at the Zoo is nighttime as well.
Yeah, well, it starts early. I know, like, for the Cleveland one, it does start early, and then it goes into
I didn't look anything in the Columbus one, but it would be something if you have time to maybe do both, like, if your kid seems really into the Halloween decorations and they're possibly okay with scare, this is much better than the other options Columbus has if you're trying to look for a fairly family-friendly one. Which I will say Columbus has a pretty good lineup of haunts. But
yes.
Yeah, so again, make sure you keep an eye on the channel for the review of those. But yeah, for Scare Factor, we gave them a 6. They are actually trying to scare you. It's not aimed at, like, being for younger audiences, but it's not that intense like most theme park haunts. Yeah. So... Now, I don't think I didn't see anything, although this event they don't really have much besides, like, the few rides, but I didn't see any kind of, like, Boo necklace type of thing for
Yeah, I was just going to say, I didn't see anything like that either.
But that's, like, really the only reason you're coming here is for the haunts. And, I mean, I don't know anyone. Yeah. It's not like Cedar Point. Like, they have a few rides, but they're just, like, carnival rides. Like, it'd be weird to me to pay full price for a ticket just to go ride the couple rides that are in that section. That'd be weird. So, yeah, I don't think they do have an option where you can opt out of scares like other amusement park haunts do. So that moves us into our last category, which is value. The average length for these were about 4 minutes. Like Kim was saying, Pleasant Screams took us the longest. That was 5. And then I think it was like 4 and then like 3.5. 4 minutes for like Sinister Sideshow and like 3.5 for Catacombs. So they're pretty short. It's kind of what you expect though for these type of haunt. Cost is... I'll let you...
For Thursdays and Sundays, it's $28.99. And then it's... For Fridays and Saturdays, it's $32.99. Plus, you have to pay $10 for parking.
Yes.
That is like a not optional thing. You have to pay for parking.
Now, you can ride the rides. Because they have a little coaster there and a couple other things like bumper cars. And the bumper cars kind of look fun. We didn't do them, of course.
Yeah.
And they do have multiple bars and stuff you can go to as well. We didn't attend any of those like we did like when we went to SeaWorld or anything like that because we had many places to drive. So we didn't have tons of time to spend there. So we did not partake in anything but the haunts. Now, they also have something. I don't know if I wrote that down. I'm going to pull that up. You can talk about...
Oh, the food
thing.
Yeah. Well, they do have, you can get a Doom Pass, which is basically like a fast pass. They had two different kinds of those. You can get the Doom Pass Platinum, which was $34.99, and that would basically take, like, it's a front of the line kind of thing. And then the $64.99, which is the Diamond Doom Pass, and that literally was like, yeah, you were in front of everybody. Like, they put you right there. But they did have a,
Yep.
tasting card.
Yep.
That you could buy for an additional cost.
Yeah, so for on your Thursdays and Sundays, it'll be $55.99, and this includes the admission as well. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, it's $5 more, $59.99, so $4 more. Yeah, I don't really know all what it includes. There were a few different like food trucks and stuff like that. But that's something, you can look into if you plan on spending the whole night there. Then maybe look into like that if you're going to go there and plan on eating and stuff like that. It might be worth your money to get the tasting card so you can get food. I think it gives you like 6 tastings per card or something like that. I do believe I read. And you can go through the houses as many times as you want, of course. It's not like they give you a ticket for each house. Like, you just go. It's just like how Cedar Point or those type of places would work, like Halloween Horror Nights kind of thing, where you go in and you can just do whatever. Like, if you like one house a lot and you just want to keep going through that one, you can do that, It's however you want to spend your time while you are in there. And I do believe if you're like a season pass holder for like the zoo or the water park, you might get discounts and stuff like that. But so it is kind of expensive for what it is, considering that the haunts are just medium quality and they aren't that long, but it is a fun atmosphere. And since you can get your money's worth if you get there at open and really just that's like what you plan on doing for your night.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of time you can spend since you can go through the haunts as many times, and there are some rides to ride and stuff like that. So we felt that the value was pretty okay, so we gave it a 7. If the quality of the haunt overall increases, I would be okay with the price. I just think it's a little bit expensive, mainly just because, like, you're going there for the haunts and they are still a little bit subpar at this moment.
Yeah. So for our overall score for everything, we did give them a 7.
Yep. So you mean if you're looking for something that is fun to do in the area, or if you're just going to Columbus to check out some of the many other haunts, this isn't terrible. It is an interesting event to go to, especially if you're looking for something that's a little more family oriented than something like the Haunted Hoochie or the other haunts that are in Columbus. You want something that's more safe to take a younger audience to, and like teenagers, and that this would be much more up your alley than that. But yes, that being said, as we brought up in the beginning of the video, we are currently doing a giveaway for Ghoul Brothers. It is pretty simple. All you have to do to be eligible to win is you have to like the video, and of course you have to be subscribed to the channel. If you're not those two things, then you would not be eligible. And all you have to do is comment on this video or any of the other videos where we talk about this. So this review, Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory, Haunted Hoochie, and Fear Columbus. All 4 of those videos, you will be able to comment on them, and it'll give you 1 entry. You can't comment obviously multiple times in the same video, but 1 comment per video gets you 1 entry. And for a bonus entry, if you go to Ghoul Brothers Review and comment on that video, that will also get you an entry. Just say that you want the tickets. Be like, I want the tickets, and you can say like why you want the tickets, or whatever. Just say like, give me the tickets, please. And then the only other caveat is like we don't have a way to check it or anything, but we will be announcing the winner on Facebook though. That's where we will post it.
Yes.
And that will be announced on Monday the 18th. And then so that way there'll still be 2 weekends left in October to use those tickets. So yeah, like I said, you'll get 2 tickets, so you and a friend can go to Ghoul Brothers, and you'll also get a t-shirt. So yes, again, make sure you comment and all of that stuff, and if you do have a friend and you want an extra chance to win, I would highly recommend, sharing it, like on your thing, and like tagging that friend in it. Yeah, so you have more chances to win, because if your friend wins and gives you the tickets, then there you go.
There you go.
So, of course, as always, make sure to check out all the links for our social media. We have a Patreon. Check that out. Helps us continue to be able to make all of these videos and go all these places and all of that kind of thing. Like the video, subscribe, and also make sure you are clicking the notification bell so that you don't miss any future upcoming videos. We will see you in the next.
Bye.